I've arrived at the place that I'm most interested in, and it's actually the place that I came here to see. The canyon and the monkeys were actually just sort of a pleasant bonus, a surprise I wasn't really expecting. But I'm standing just above the main entrance to the what they call the Lobang Japang, the Japanese tunnel. And there's the sign for it, and the entrance to the main tunnel is right here on the right. Though I'm not quite sure how you get down there yet. Maybe looks like you can get down there from both sides. And I don't know if there's a separate entrance fee to go into the tunnel or not. I'm not sure. I'll find out in a minute. I did a bit of reading about this tunnel, or I keep calling it a tunnel, but it's more than that. As I said, it's actually an underground military complex consisting of many different tunnels. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of information about it here, or a lot of reliable information. And this sign just says that the tunnel was a bunker built in Japanese occupation forces in 1942, and it was built as defense purpose and located on Panorama Street. I say there probably won't be a lot of information because most of what I read was contradictory. Like every single website or article I found said something different about the tunnel. So I don't think there are a lot of verifiable facts about this military complex. But the basic context is, fairly straightforward. It dates back to World War II, when Japan, I think it was the 25th Army, was assigned to occupy Indonesia. And if you go all the way back in time, I guess it started with Germany's invasion of the Netherlands, because at that time this was not Indonesia yet. All of these islands were the Dutch East Indies, a colony of the Netherlands. And then Germany, of course, invaded the Netherlands, and that left the colony sort of on its own and struggling. They declared martial law here. I think Germany invaded in 1940, invaded the Netherlands in 1940. And then you can jump ahead to the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor, and then the Netherlands declared war on Japan. But anyway, after the declaration of war, Japanese forces arrived, and they invaded and they took over all of the Dutch East Indies in 3 months. And the Dutch forces surrendered in March, I think, of 1942. And the Japanese started fortifying, and they started digging underground. And that was a really fascinating time, I find, because Japan was expanding throughout all of Asia, and this was at a time when a lot of the Asian countries were colonies of European powers. So the Japanese could present themselves as liberators, So when they first came to Sumatra, or came to the Dutch East Indies, I think they were welcomed as liberators. They were liberating the local people from Dutch rule. But then, of course, as happened all across Asia, the mood changed very quickly. I read that the Japanese conscripted between 4 and 10 million Indonesians, from the island of Java, and just sent them out as forced labor. So yeah, anywhere from 4 to 10 million of them were taken as forced labor, and thousands of them, tens of thousands, some articles say, were brought here to dig these tunnels. And of course, many of them died while digging the tunnels. And the liberators were quickly seen as occupiers in their own right. And I read that there's up to 8 kilometers of tunnels inside there. Again, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the highest number I came across, 8 kilometers of tunnels. And they say that 1.8 kilometers is open to the public. So that's what I'm going to go in and explore. And I seem to have arrived at the same time as a couple of large tour groups. So I'll have some company down there in the tunnels. That large tour group has gone inside. So the entrance is free. Let's see if I can glean some information from the displays at the front. So as I said, I think there are as much as 8 kilometers of tunnels down there, with all kinds of side tunnels and all kinds of rooms that they dug, storage areas for ammunition and weapons and perhaps a hospital, this kind of thing. I think there's also a prison down there. Yeah, you know, living quarters, I'm sure. Kitchens, you know, anything, you know, that they could all go underground in case, you know, they were under attack, and they could live underground and be safe from bombing raids, and they could defend the opening of the tunnels. And yeah, so it was a fortified position underground. So I've done a little bit of Google Translate on this sign, and just starting at the beginning, this is the entrance. You can see the V shape. That's where I am now. I'm standing right at the entrance, of course, Pintu Masuk, and then a stretch of tunnel, and this is an escape tunnel in this direction. These are Ruang Amunisi, which obviously is an ammunition room, and I got as far as number 4, which are military barracks. So I guess these would be all the sleeping quarters for the soldiers. They keep all their weapons and ammunition here, and then they have an escape route over there. And beside the barracks here is like a connecting door, leads to more tunnels, I assume, or back up to the outside world. Escape door. Ruang Makan, kitchen. And I think this translates as an ambush door, an ambush tunnel. Another kitchen or dining room, I guess, maybe more like a dining room. And down here at the bottom, number 8 is the kitchen, and number 7 is the prison over there. So I guess that is the section that is open to the public, and when I go inside, that's what I'm going to be seeing right now. All right, in we go into the tunnel. Yeah, I don't know how much lighting there is. Oh, and I think it's, wow, okay, that is impressive. Much more impressive than I expected. I did read that it goes down, I think, 49 meters. But when I was standing at the outside there, I didn't get the impression that it really went down that far. But man, this tunnel goes way down. And I wonder what the footing was like back in the days when this was first built, because it's all steps now. It's very well maintained. Yeah, really nice steps going down and up, and a handrail. But I wonder what the floor was like when the tunnel, because this is very steep, is what I'm getting at. So if the Japanese didn't design it with steps like these, I wonder how in the world they went in and out of the tunnel. So there's the entrance behind us. It's a big tunnel, much bigger than I expected. Huh. Because they were talking about, you know, tens of thousands of conscripted laborers building this, and I was wondering, oh, could you possibly need that many people? But yeah, this is, if there's 8 kilometers of tunnel like this in existence, wow, that would be a major job. And there's something about the walls of this tunnel. This is supposed to be extremely strong, that when it mixes with water, you know, this material becomes super strong. Well, here's a part where some plaster kind of came away, and there's the original earth. But yeah, it feels like concrete. Doesn't feel like dirt at all. Very interesting. Much bigger than I expected, and going down much deeper than I expected. And each step, it's a big step. It's a bigger drop, you know, than in steps in your house. So I wonder where you exit from as a tourist. Do you come back up these same stairs, or is there another exit? Because you would have to climb back up. And I would imagine a lot of these tunnels connect to escape doors, escape tunnels leading down into the canyon, of course. That's why they would have chosen this place to dig it. So quiet. I just stopped for a minute and I can't hear a thing, and there's the entrance far above me. And it's nice and cool down here. Wow. If the Japanese did manage to keep this a secret, I can't imagine how they did it. A construction project this size and nobody knows about it, and it sort of disappears after World War II until you get into the 50s, and then it's sort of discovered. But local people must have known about it. There's no way this could all be hidden, I wouldn't think. Oh man, look at that. It goes on and on. Much longer and much higher ceiling than I expected. I mean, it's a thing that people do when they visit Vietnam now, of course. They go down, it's a tourist attraction to go into the tunnels that the Viet Cong dug, and I did that years ago when I went to Vietnam, and of course that's an entirely different experience, because they really are very much like tunnels where you're on your hands and knees and crawling through them. They're very, very small. Nothing like this. Okay, so this is the ammunition room. Ruang Amunisi. And here the roof lowers a little bit, so they didn't put quite as much work into digging this out. I have to crouch down a little bit to get through here. Yeah. Be careful, I don't want to hit my head. There's my shadow walking along. Whoa. Ooh. Ooh, careful, there's a drop here. No light. I guess the light is burnt out or something. Oh man. And then the ceiling goes up high again. And this would be where they stored all the ammunition, and there's even doors, a wooden door over there. And it looks like they had, whoa, look at that. I guess this would be one of the ammunition rooms. And does that lead back to the main tunnel, I wonder? I read in a couple of articles, just mentions of, be careful, go in with a guide or something, or don't go walk, because don't get lost in the tunnels. And I was wondering, oh, come on, what could that mean? But now I can see one could have the feeling of getting lost. Yeah, you have no sense of direction down here, no idea where you are. I wonder if there was an issue with ventilation as well. I just noticed there's a ventilation duct right up there, you know, with a fan. I wonder if the Japanese planned for that and they built in ventilation ducts and like a system, or did they just assume there would be enough air? Oh, so I guess each one of these rooms off to the side, that would have been an ammunition room. Yeah, they were digging in for the ages. You know, they were intending to stay a while. Can you imagine? Oops. Okay, I have to get out my flashlight. There we go. I've got my little bicycle light. I made sure to bring it with me. Yeah, another one with another, ventilation duct there. It's pretty well lit down here. You don't actually need a flashlight, but it's just like little spots here and there where you're not quite sure what's underneath your feet. So it would be a little flashlight is definitely handy to be down here. Yeah, another ammunition room. And I wonder if this links back up with the main tunnel. I'm not sure where I am. Wow. Yeah, I am completely lost. There's actually kind of an exit over there. I can see the outside world, and then more tunnels going off in this direction. But I'm gonna go back. I wanna go all the way back to where I entered this ammunition dump, because I just wanna make sure that, I kind of see everything. Because maybe going through this ammunition storage area brought me all the way to the end. I'm gonna go all the way back to where I entered this tunnel and then keep going from there. It would also help me keep track of where I am. Having this flashlight is handy. Look at that. Oh, and the way they carved the walls. There's sort of almost like artificial columns here. It's not a flat, smooth surface. It actually has little, almost like columns built into it. I wonder why that is. Well, up until this point, I think the color down here was way off because I had the camera set to auto white balance, and I noticed that the video I was shooting didn't look anything like what I was seeing. So I adjusted it, and now this is accurate. So now the white balance matches the conditions in here, and this is the real color of the walls down here, at least with this lighting. I find auto white balance generally works very well for me, but occasionally, especially in situations like this, it doesn't really get it right. So. And here, this is the area where you have to bend down. The roof gets quite a bit lower. Okay, those are the stairs that I came down, so that's the main entrance over there. Now we pick up our journey from here. Yeah, it looks much more accurate now. Okay, so here, this is the other side of the ammunition rooms. So those are the rooms I was just looking down. They actually connect that tunnel with the main tunnel. Yeah, that's where I was down there. That's the other tunnel. Another ammunition room. And another one. Yeah, these were all ammunition rooms. And I imagine these gates are original too. You know, the Japanese would want security around all their weapons and ammunition, so they probably put those in place. I'm sure they date back to when the tunnel complex was built. Huh, yeah, I'm not really sure where I came from when I came out of that ammunition tunnel. I don't really know where I am now, but there's a tunnel leading in that direction. Okay, I think that's the door to the outside world that I saw. Color me impressed. This whole thing is much more extensive than I thought. Wow. And I can absolutely see getting lost down here. Okay, so these are the military barracks. So I am in kind of a new area, but I have no idea geographically how it links up with the other areas. Another tunnel heading off in that direction. And it dead ends here. This is a military barracks. And it looks like there was another, tunnel here. And it's been sealed off with all these bricks for some reason. Spooky too. I mean, it's definitely spooky being down here. This is another tunnel leading off from the military barracks. I don't know where it goes. Even if it went to a new section of tunnel, I probably would have no idea. It all looks the same. Oh man, what is going on? It goes off in that direction, maybe. I have no idea where I am, like literally no clue. Very long tunnel heading over there. Another exit over there. I guess an emergency exit. I have no idea. No clue where I am. I mean, if I manage to see all the places that are down here, like the kitchen and the prison and like all the other things I saw on the map, if I do see them all, it'll just be by accident. Certainly not by design, because I have no sense of direction at all down here. I have no idea where I am. Couldn't tell you how to turn around and get out either. Guess you just keep walking until you stumble across an exit. Yeah, another tunnel in that direction. I've rejoined one of the main tunnels. No idea where that goes. There's another exit over here. Dead end. So I did find the last two pieces in the puzzle, mainly by accident, as I said. I had no idea I was heading in this direction. But this is the prison right here. So on the other side of this gate is the prison area. And I wonder who they held down there. And this is the kitchen. It seems kind of odd. Made me laugh, actually, just to have the kitchen right beside the prison. You'd think the kitchen would be closer to the barracks, you know, the soldiers that they were supposed to be feeding. Or maybe this is the kitchen, a small kitchen just for the prisoners. And another exit. But looks like this. Oh, okay. There's actually a tunnel heading off in that direction. I wonder if that's meant for ventilation. But, yeah, if there was an exit here, it looks like it's been sealed off. So there's nothing left here, like in terms of, you know, things the Japanese would have been using. I mean, there are no tools here to show what kind of tools were used to dig these tunnels, and there's no military equipment here, you know, no like Japanese rations or weapons or clothing or, you know, anything to do when this thing, you know, when the Japanese were occupying Indonesia. So yeah, so all you see down here are tunnels. Basically, that's all that's here. But, you know, that being said, it's pretty impressive. It's well worth visiting, that is for sure. It's impressive. Just makes me want to know more and more about the place. But that's something else about coming here as a visitor. Could definitely be improved. I mean, there's no information at all. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there is the map at the beginning, and you know there's a prison, a kitchen, you know, barracks, and ammunition rooms. But yeah, it's pretty much, beyond that, there's like no information at all about, you know, dates and times and when the tunnels were built and the history of this place at all. You have to find all that out for yourself on the internet, as I did. But as I said, even if you go on the internet, I think you'll find very limited information, and a lot of it is conflicting. So I think if you put all of these tunnels together, all these bits and pieces that I've walked through, you could come up with 1.8 kilometers, I think. But I find it hard to believe that there's 6 more kilometers of this, you know, because they do say there's 8 kilometers of tunnel in total. I don't know where I'm going. I thought I'd turn right, but slowly work my way back to the entrance. I think that entrance is also the exit, though. Yeah, before I came down here, there was that very large tour group, and they went into the tunnel ahead of me, and I haven't seen any of them anywhere, so I was assuming that they went out a different exit. But so far, I don't see any exits other than the one the entrance is also the exit, I think. So maybe that tour group was just swallowed up by these tunnels. 'Cause yeah, I haven't seen them anywhere, haven't heard them. Anyway, hopefully they made it out. So anyway, here are some arrows, Keluar exit. So this is the way out and back to the real world. Yeah, it's way underground, so if you were down here, you definitely would be protected from bombing. Any bombs landing up there on ground level would have no effect on anything down here. It's too deep. But they would have to be in good shape, these Japanese soldiers, if they were, you know, woken up out of a deep sleep and they had to run up these steps to fight at the entrance to the tunnel. Yeah, they'd be breathing hard by the time they got to the top. And we're back. I'm back at the real world. And I guess it's not nearly as complicated as I made it out to be. I mean, you can see the layout right there. It's very geometric. Right angles everywhere. Follows a nice grid pattern. And as far as I can tell, yeah, I went everywhere in terms of this part of the tunnel complex. And then all the military barracks, and I went here to the exit. And then all the way down to the other side, where you have the prison and the kitchen. And the ambush tunnel. Dining rooms. And then I think, you know, the tunnels in this must go on to connect to more tunnels, you know, down in this direction. If the idea that there's 8 kilometers of tunnel is true, then there's got to be a lot more out there somewhere. And I think that is it for this morning's small adventures. I got very lucky with the weather, that's for sure. Riding in here on my bike and getting that beautiful view of the volcano, Singalang in particular. That was very nice. And perfect weather for hanging out here to see the gorge, you know, the scenic panorama that's here. And very interesting exploration of the Japanese military, you know, underground complex here. Very well, yeah, well worth visiting. I think this place could be improved dramatically with a lot more information. There's nothing at all here in English. There's a little bit in Indonesian. You've got the map to the interior, but in terms of the history of it, what it is, you know, why the Japanese were in, you know, Indonesia to begin with, and why they built this, and using conscripted labor from Java to build it, the number of prisoners who died building the tunnels. I mean, there's an incredible story to go along with this underground complex, but none of that story is on display here. I think there might be some local guides that, you know, I think I've seen men here with you know, name tags on, and I think you can hire them as a guide and they can tell you some of the history. Yeah, so I think the place could be improved with a lot more exhibits on the inside, some arrows giving you directions maybe, and a lot more information. But even setting all that aside, a very interesting place to exhibit, to visit. Much more dramatic, much larger set of tunnels than I was expecting. So that's it. I'm going to get on my bike and do a bit of shopping here in Bukittinggi before I head back out into the countryside and back to the village. And assuming I make it out of here without the monkeys stealing all my cameras, all my GoPros, I'll see you in the next video.